Let's talk about this prediction by this one analyst that says Bitcoin will hit $180,000 by this date. But as for Bitcoin, we know Bitcoin is still kind of just like hovering, but we're down. We're not at 30,000. We're a little bit down, about 800 points down, right? So people are wondering what is going on. Are we going to get that next leg up? Are we going to break 31,000 finally and continue higher? Well, today we have one analyst that thinks yes, and more good is coming to Bitcoin. And how high? $180,000. $180,000 by this date, April 2024. When I first came across this, I thought he was going to say like end of the next cycle, which would be like December 2025 or something like that. No, he's saying $180,000 by April 2024, which is the halving event, right? Well, actually, halving event could be April or May, but somewhere around there. So leading up to the halving event, we're going to get $180,000. And why does he think this is going to happen? And this is actually from Fundstrat, by the way, Fundstrat. The reason being is this BlackRock spot ETF, if approved, will bring in massive amount of money into the space that will help drive Bitcoin up. It's really that simple. Now, according to them, right now, there's a daily demand of 25 million per day, okay? And there's a daily mining reward of 25 million. So it kind of cancels out. You have 25 million coming into the space every day, although I don't think that's the case. Miners are just holding that. But anyways, for this example, he's saying, well, 25 million is coming out, 25 million is coming in. It's net zero, right? But a Bitcoin spot ETF from BlackRock can add an extra 100 million more transactions or more buys per day. So the two are now not netting out. Now you have 125 million being bought per day, removing that, and then 25 million coming into this space. So then you have a net negative of $100 million. And that would make Bitcoin's price blow up. Every $1 would add to $5 in price appreciation, basically. And that is why if we see a spot Bitcoin ETF, we could see demand just skyrocket to the moon, and Bitcoin will start skyrocketing, basically. That is his argument, and I can't say it's flawed. The price may be a little bit high by April 2024, but I think most people are really underestimating how much money is going to flow in after we get a spot Bitcoin ETF. We have so many institutions waiting, sitting on the side, still afraid to jump into Bitcoin itself, but they would love to jump into an ETF that actually follows the price of Bitcoin. And you know what? Right now, we still see this Wyckoff accumulation. So short term, we may still see some of this, okay? And Wyckoff accumulation is basically the big boys trying to accumulate. Maybe BlackRock is doing this. Not saying BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF is only good. You know, having BlackRock in anything is not 100% good. But you know, these big boys, they're the ones that created this and follow this, right? So who knows? Who knows? Maybe this is one of those periods where they are simply accumulating. And it's not just the BlackRocks of the world, right? There's others that are huge fund managers that need to accumulate Bitcoin in order to come out with their spot Bitcoin ETF. Here's the thing. They need to hold. This is the difference between futures and spot ETF. They need to actually hold X number of Bitcoin to offer these shares, right? So if they don't have any Bitcoin, then they can't do it. So they may be accumulating right now, which is why Bitcoin is at where it is and hasn't gone up, because they're trying to accumulate as much as possible. If we are following this Wyckoff accumulation pattern, well, that means the next leg up are going to be fantastic. Here's another one, Kelter Channel, which again, it looks like Bollinger Bands, basically. And whenever you're in a bull market, that middle average is basically where Bitcoin bounces off of and uses as a support, right? And we're in one of those stages right now. So again, does this mean that we're going to get a squeeze and we're going to explode higher, especially after the FOMC meeting or spot Bitcoin ETF approval or some other approval, right? And some other catalyst, maybe, right? Most likely. What is Powell going to do? Tomorrow we know what's going to happen. There will be another rate hike, but what is he going to do afterwards? So everyone's speculating the next one in September. Will he announce we need another one tomorrow, or will he be more dovish and say, well, maybe we just wait and see. We don't really need another one for now, right? So that's what everyone is kind of speculating right now, right? In the U.S. market, well, we'll see if Wall Street traders are undecided and we'll just see what they do. Long term, we know Bitcoin is not affected by any of this, okay? Bitcoin does not care. Bitcoin, the only thing it cares about is the halving event. I don't know if that's the only thing Bitcoin cares about, but that is what long-term holders care about. And we are only 40,000 blocks away from the next halving event. 800,000 blocks have been mined. 40,000 away from the next halving event. And we know what happens after the halving event. Every single time we start going up rapidly in a parabolic rise upwards, right? So we're not too far off from there. The hash rate continues to go higher and higher and higher. Look at that. It's just going up astronomically now. Difficulty continues to go up, right? And that is why the halving event is so important, because there is a race. There's a race to mine every single Bitcoin there is. And it's getting more and more difficult to do so. That's why over time, the scarcity factor plays into it. And the halving event makes finding Bitcoins even harder every 4 years. So scarcity is definitely a thing and will continue forward, okay? Forever being a thing for Bitcoin as demand continues to go up. And demand, if it keeps doing this, supply keeps doing this, demand keeps doing this, then you know what's going to happen in price, right? So that's why Bitcoin does not care. Long term, it will continue forward and upwards like it always has. But short term, there's some volatility because of maybe the Fed, and maybe because of long-term holders. It's interesting because you look at 2015, all long-term holders was around the same point, right, as now. And that was when Bitcoin was at like $100. So think about that, right? Long-term holders have gone up and down because of new retail investors, short-term people coming in, right? But overall, whenever you have long-term holders, I guess that percentage rising, that's usually a bottom point, right? So right now, right around $30,000, we have the same number of holders, which is, again, proving that we are breaking into the next bull run and very good things will be coming.